It is 4:30 in the goddamn morning when I'm recording this intro section. Furia have just stunned the entire Counter-Strike world by beating Vitality, not just in general in the IEM Chengdu Grand Finals, but sweeping the best team of 2025, arguably one of the most successful rosters ever in 3 straight games. And despite this being a 3-0 affair, this is one of the closest best of 5s it feels like of the entire year. At any point, something could have broke Vitality's way and changed the entire context of the series. In fact, there's a firm argument that this could have been a 3-0 in Vitality's favor had things gone differently. Every map went down to the wire, nail-biting moment after nail-biting moment, but at every turn on Ancient, both teams permabans, Inferno, Common Ground, and then finally Overpass, where Furia had to find themselves as arguably the best team in the world. Furia had that extra gear, that extra bit of clutch momentum and star impact to get them over the line. Coming out of this now, I think it's definitive. The best team going into the Budapest Major in the world is Furia. Molodoy, his second MVP in 6 weeks, and it just doesn't get any less shocking that only 6 months ago nobody knew where Furia were heading, and they were on the outside looking in as barely a top 20 team in the world. So again, despite there only being 3 maps, there's a lot to break down, so let's go ahead and not waste any more time. If you guys enjoy this content, you should be leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Help me 10k subs by the end of the year. Thank you so much for the support on these videos. The Chengdu schedule has been pretty punishing for me, as you can tell by that 4:30 mention at the beginning of the video, so I really do appreciate it. If you could also take a second and follow me over on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ. I stream every single night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and it really helped me out a lot if you came on by and dropped in. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And yeah, LionHeartZ in the past, we are certainly ready to get started after about 3 hours of recording and demos, and maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 unscheduled chair naps along the way. I'm holding it together. Anyways, we kicked off on Ancient, which right away is a very interesting thing in and of itself, as both these teams permaban Ancient as a rule in every series they play. This is one of the most interesting aspects of best of 5s. We rarely see this come up in best of 3 play, but there's more opportunity to take risks around your map pool. So for example, in their first ban, Furia opted to get rid of Nuke, despite that being one of their better maps over the last 6 months. They chose to do that because the last time they played Vitality in ESO Pro League, they got stomped on it 13-7. So take a map that they're both good on, but you recently lost, let's get that off the board and go somewhere else that's more neutral territory. Vitality opted to do more or less the same thing with Train. Now, they're both good Train teams, but at least at Chengdu, Train has been very up and down for Vitality. They don't feel very confident on it, they've had their troubles there, so get that off the board and once again opt for maps they feel more comfortable on. Of course, a byproduct of this is that both teams have left Ancient, a map they permaban, on the board. So, for the first pick, Furia opt to play aggressive and pick Ancient as a punish into Vitality. Now obviously we're looking at this with the benefit of hindsight, but I think even in the moment, I don't think Vitality should have done this. I think they should have opted to just play Train, or maybe pick something else and leave Train for later on in the series. But regardless, leaving Ancient up to chance is just introducing variance into the series, because regardless of whatever Romps has said about them having prepped Ancient in case this might happen, at the end of the day, they just have less recent Ancient games played on it than their competition, Molodoy and Yekindar both having played quite a bit of it on their previous teams. So whether it was just a confidence thing and Vitality not vibing with Train in the moment or not, I just don't think it worked out. In terms of the actual game though, it was still very close, and there were moments where it looked like Vitality might run away with it. This game is best characterized by each team going on streaks. You had Furia winning the pistol round and the early game conversion on the T side. Once Vitality got their full buys on, they won 4 straight CT rounds, and then Furia roared back to win 5 straight T rounds to close out the first half. Vitality would then arrest momentum at the start of the second with a Mezzi ace in the pistol round, and then converting that into 7 straight rounds before Furia could right the ship, get some clutches online, and close out the game strongly with 5 straight of their own. When Vitality finally got on the board on their CT side, it felt like these rounds were ending insanely fast. Like their first round win of the game is them pushing down B ramp straight into Furia, and Mezzi and Apex just gunning them down. The next round very much the same, just this time Vitality decided to politely let Furia into the B bomb side first before Mezzi went off for his 4K. Vitality takes the lead 4-3 before we get one of our first true shenanigan rounds of the series, and this is going to become a theme. For whatever reason, there is going to be some demonic low buy wins throughout all 3 maps here, and this time it's Furia kicking things off With just a couple of Tech 9s, Molodoy stuck on a Glock. They're going to take space towards caves and execute up B. Bezzy's going to get a double kill before Zerotwocs takes out Apex with the Tech 9, and then Molodoy coming through the B ramp smoke just executes Mezzy with the Glock, picking up that AK, and then converting that into just 2 clutch gunfights in the post-plant scenario, just taking that duel, no armor, no problem, AK diff, Molodoy better, and suddenly we're tied up 4-4. Molodoy is going to continue his streak of being the main fucking character in the very next round, where he's going to go on to win a 1v2 clutch against Rops and Zywo. Yes, Rops and fucking Zywo. And these shots are just so confident for Molodoy with the op. There's just no hesitation in being extra aggressive into these peaks. He plays around his timing very smartly and disengages when he has to. He navigates these clutches like he's been in the pro scene for fucking years, man. Furia popped the clutch and dropped it into cruise control afterwards, taking things to an 8-4 first half lead. And then once again, this is where Vitality stepped back into the ring. Pistol round, Mezzy ace, taking space. Not going to be the last time we mention Mezzy and his pistols in this series, but also important to point out that he ends up being the top scorer for Vitality through this first game, which is interesting. Mezzy, much like Yuri, as we talked about in yesterday's video, him being your 4th best player is just a spoiler of riches scenario when he can do shit like this in the pistol rounds. We skip ahead to the first proper gun round v gun round. It's an 8-7 scoreline. Vitality are looking to operate towards the A site out the gate. Zerotwocs is going to get super aggressive here, push through into A main, get a pick, and get traded out for it. Now we come down to a 4v4. Vitality, they hesitate, they reassess. They're going to go ahead and go with this AXQ anyway. The smokes come in, the flashes come out, and they just win the trade wars on the bomb site. A Yuri double kill through CT onto the back of the site feels like it comes far too late. Molodoy once again in a 1v2. You think maybe he's got more clutch magic? No, he drops in short order while the bomb is being planted. Vitality take the momentum straight to the house. They put on 4 more rounds off the back of it. It's now an 11-8 scoreline, and Furia, they're scrapping for anything. They just want one round to go smooth. They finally get their break with Zerotwocs starting things off with a great pick down mid. Yuri and Yekindar finally hold the B site on lockdown, despite the fact that Yekindar juggles his gun on the ground for like 15 seconds after the first kill. No big deal. Vitality slow things down after the initial push fails, then try to regress into B late, run into Yekindar once again. The round is cut down, the win streak stopped, it's 11-9 and the game is back on. Shout out to Hassan Piker because it's now a 9-11 scoreline here. Terrible joke. Anyways, after about 30 seconds, Vitality are going to want to work their way into a late B hit. Zywo's going to get the opening pick on Yuri. That's really scary. Zerotwocs gets an immediate trade through the smoke. That's actually really nice. Zerotwocs rotates into K's, hits a spam on Zywo. That's even nicer. And then Flamesy starts to turn it all the way up. A great double kill onto Yekindar and Zerotwocs. An even better tap on Molodoy. Suddenly it's fallen in a 1v2. An awful start for El Presente at this point, but Unk still got it. Converts the 1v2 clutch, saves the game for his team, the momentum firmly under the sails of Furia. Now in the next round, Furia are threatening to tie things up, and at this point, the fact that both teams perma these maps is starting to show its head. Vitality really only seem comfortable going into these B hits. They keep trying to hammer B over and over and over again. Once again, it's going to be another B execute. This time, Yuri and Yekindar are going to combine for 2 picks apiece, but Vitality are going to answer with 2 picks of their own. It's a 3v3 in the post-plan situation. Yekindar stays alive, groups up with Fallen. They push through long B. Fallen and Yekindar retake the site single-handedly with 3 picks between the two of them. Yekindar with a huge 3K to tie the game 11-11. And then Yekindar kicks the door close on this map for Vitality. He goes straight into Cave on the next round, gets a double kill in there, just gutting the attack at its knees, rotates back out around along as Vitality limp up ramp with what they have left. Yekindar gets his 3rd kill of the round. Yuri backs him up for 1 more. Mezzy finally puts an end to Yekindar's terror, gets the bomb down, but that's all he gets. And for us, the humble viewer, we have a cinema start to this series as Furia take a 1-0 lead heading into Inferno. And once again, I am at a loss for words of where to start with this one because the game is just so close. And initially, it didn't look that way. Vitality won the first 5 straight rounds before Furia could get one on the board. And then multiple times on this first half T side, words. Vitality. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. The other team is Vitality. Vitality. All right, I'm leaving that in. Vitality won 2 Force Spy rounds that came absolutely out of fucking nowhere. Like here, it's a 5-2 scoreline. Furia have finally gone on the board. They open up this round. Yekindar gets a great opener on Banana, but he gets traded out. No big deal. Molodoy finds himself a pick on a player lurking through Arch trying to get into CT. Now Vitality find themselves in a 2v4 because Fallen also got a pick when Yekindar died. I forgot to mention that. Anyways, it's Mezzy and it's Flames. They have a Tech-9 and a Galil, and somehow they kick the door into the B bomb site, take out the remaining B anchors, get the bomb down. Mezzy finds his third pick, holding the banana flank, and Molodoi is all alone in CT with the op in his hands, and he 100% just has to save. But again, that's from a 2v4, Mezzy and Flames just manufacture a win out of nowhere. And somehow the other Force Buy win is even more diabolical because they're working with even less. It's just all Tech-9s. They're going to push straight into B. They're going to somehow get their way into the bomb site. They're going to get the bomb down. It's a 4v4 post-plan situation. And then Mezzy in front of the coffin is just going to get an insane triple kill with the Tech-9 as Furia are desperately trying to get the site control for the defuse. Like, how? How does he line up all these Tech-9 kills? Why is the Tech-9 this stupid? I hate this weapon. It is Satan incarnate. Anyways, there's a huge period through the middle part of this game where Furia just once again drop into just cruise mode where they are just winning everything. Through the end of the first half into the second, they're going to win 8 straight rounds, putting Vitality totally on the back foot. And pretty much all throughout, Fallen is just going to be calling a masterclass in mid-rounding. He's calling perfect rotates, he's putting perfect timing with his nades. He knows exactly what Vitality are going to do when they're stacking hard towards B, when they're rotating to reinforce A. He made all of these correct decisions and kept Vitality in this spin cycle where there were at least 4 or 5 rounds in a row where these rounds were ended nearly instantly and Vitality were forced to run and save. There was one round where Vitality had to save 4 players after Mezzy caught 4 nades to the fucking dome piece on B. Like, that is unreal. Obviously, Inferno is known for that kind of saving culture, but to be so thoroughly punted out of the round that you don't even attempt a 4v4 retake is wild. And let's call a spade a spade. The only reason that this is a 13-10 scoreline is because Flamesy wakes up in a huge way, has these just couple of back-to-back multi-kill rounds on the B defense where he's the one man alone. He has to get 2 or 3 kills, and he finds them. He succeeds. But it felt like Furia were never bothered by it. It's now a 10-11 scoreline. We're going to pause for a second. Obviously, Furia are buying down everything. You have to consider that if Furia lose here, that's going to be a huge swing of momentum. Because at this point, they will have loss bonus to rebuy in the next round, but it's still going to be another thin buy. They're at the point where they're really risking a lot of their game on where they can make this force buy work. And after struggling to get the B side for the last 3 rounds or so, now they can really expose one big flaw. The absent person we haven't really talked about at all in this series, and that's Robs. Robs is by far having one of his quietest grand finals with Vitality at this point, and in this game, he's done really fuck all. Robs ends this CT side going 2-9. So after the slow, deliberate, grinding round pace for most of this half, Fallen makes the best call he can. Let's go A very hard, very fast. They blitz up alt mid, straight to boiler, to truck, to the bomb site. They run Vitality over with just a handful of Tech-9s. Caught them completely off guard. Robson with a nade in his hand before he goes down. Just the perfect tempo call to break Vitality's momentum. You get match point. This was just simply Fallen being ahead of whatever Vitality were expecting, and then the players below him being able to execute in that moment with just ruthless efficiency. And then in what feels like very emblematic of the entire match, the final round of the game boils down to a 2v2 clutch scenario on the A bomb site. It's Yuri and Serato, the 2 stars who stuck with Furia for all this time, against Zywo and Flamesy, the 2 stars of Vitality, who have themselves been doing so much throughout this year to define themselves as legends in this game. So you have a duo that's been struggling just to find those trophies, to find that gratifying relevance for how good they are and how long they've been grinding, versus the duo and Vitality that have established themselves, that have won everything. And Vitality just weren't as good on this day. Yuri and Serato, they play the crossfire perfectly, they take their duels. Serato gets really stuck in the back of the bomb, so he gets flashed out, but even then Zywo can't find him. He hits a great flick onto him, then Yuri backs up his boy, takes care of Flamesy trunk, and we're going to overpass with now Furia threatening to sweep the best team in the world, the best team of 2025, and one of the all-time best lineups in the history of the game. A team that has only lost 1 best of 5 grand finals period, and that was against G2, and it went all 5 maps. They sure as fuck have never been swept. And we're going to overpass. Furia's best map, a 10 map win streak going into this game. They're the best in the world there. Of course they managed to bring it home. Now, it should go without saying, you guys need to go watch this grand finals if you didn't catch it live. The cast was fucking killer. The crowd vibe was immaculate. It was just, again, for this being a 3-0, this is one of the most entertaining sweeps I have seen in Counter-Strike point blank, period. Like, it felt like a 5-map series, even though it was only 3. So I'm just going to talk broadly about my thoughts here so we can kind of wrap this up pretty quick. Obviously, there's a huge amount of push and pull in this game. First off, Vitality's CT side was very, very good. They lost the pistol round, but then in Vitality fashion, they won just a hellacious 5-7 force buy. Once again, the 5-7 and Tech 9 are the devil. I hate these guns. I hate them so much. But my god, do Vitality and Furia, for that matter, know how to leverage them and how broken they are to win rounds that they have no business being involved in. Especially on the B side, those Tech 9s and 5-7s are just so killer. They're just a rifle that can move better in some instances. It's quite insane. But Vitality took that and they won 5 more rounds straight off the back of that. I feel like even though Furia still have their CT side to contend with, that maybe it wouldn't be enough, and we're going to have to go to a map 4, maybe a map 5, who knows? Maybe Vitality are really going to wake up and this series is going to go the distance. And then on round 8, we get a brief moment of Furia's own devil magic with those fucking hellacious pistols, as them on the Tech 9 and just a hero AK on the Yakindar buy decide to go straight into B, a stacked Vitality B, by the way, 3 players on the bomb site, 1 player connector. They were expecting this, and Molodoi and Caserado win all 3 of their fights at range with the fucking Tech 9. The Antichrist in weapon form, I'm telling you. And I think just keeping it to 4 rounds is a success for Furia. We get into the second half, and right away on the pistol round, I think this is where Furia showed they were going to find a way to make this win no matter what. Yakindar's play on this pistol round is fucking fantastic. I don't know what compels him after this stalls out on long, with Vitality waiting to see how Furia reacts, to walk up solo long, knowing Zyro is stuck in that off corner, and say, you know what? I'm just going to push into Zyro, whose crosshair is right here waiting for me to peek him. I'm just going to take that duel, and I'm going to win it. And then I'm going to get a second kill, and honestly, kind of wanted the third too, but I couldn't quite find it. Like, Yakindar just slams his balls onto the table. And now granted, Robs makes it very scary on the lurk through bathroom at the end, but Furia take it, they convert it, no big deal. And for once, Vitality's second round force buy does not net them a victory, as much as it nearly scared the bejeebus out of me, and cost Furia quite a lot of money in expensive weapons. And just from here, what else is there to say? Furia just played better. Even when Vitality won rounds, they could never convert consecutive rounds. Even when just big momentum plays come out, like Apex winning a 1v3 on the A bomb site, and Unk still got it masterclass, where you're being bared down on by 3 of Furia's best players, and just 1 headshot, another headshot, a third, all of them, the hat trick for Apex to win that round. But then Furia answered back with their own Unk moment, as Fallen on the B bomb site plays like he's prime fucking get right with the M4 in front of Monster and takes a 4K. Of course, Molodoi has pockets of amazing impact. Yakindar just moves like a fucking madman on the CT side, just entering at a million different points. It felt like there wasn't a single round where Yakindar wasn't finding at least 1 kill. And just, I don't know, Vitality couldn't find a knockout blow. They couldn't find a way to really steal momentum and really break what Furia were trying to do. Furia were just playing better. Let's talk about the context of this win. In my opinion, Furia are now the best team in the world. They beat the number 5, 4, 3, and 1 teams in the world on their way to this title run. They were already themselves one of the best teams in the world by VRS. This is now their second LAN win since adding Molodoi, their second LAN win in 3 or 4 weeks, if I got my timeline correctly. For Fallen, it's his first IEM win since IEM Sydney in 2017. For Molodoi, it's his second MVP of the year. Like, the success story for Furia is fucking insane. This team was going nowhere 7 months ago. Before the Austin Major, before these moves were announced, before they decided to bring in Molodoi and Yakindar, they had no direction. They weren't winning anything. Caserado had just re-signed that egregious 5 more year contract. I was pissed. Brazil was pissed. The world was pissed because it felt like Furia was wasting everyone's goddamn time. I went back and I listened to my reaction to these moves when they were announced. And at the time, nobody thought this was going to work. We had no idea what the hell Furia were trying to do here. It felt like every move they decided to make here with an unknown Kazakhstani opera, a at the time seemingly washed up Yakindar. How the hell do you make this work? How the hell do you get good enough to beat teams like Mouse, Vitality, Spirit, Falcons? But then Molodoi ends up being the fucking truth. Yakindar just resurrects himself into a borderline top 20 player. Yuri could vie to be an Anchor of the Year winner if they go on to do well at the major. K-Serato continues to be an excellent star. And then Fallen doesn't disappear individually without the op. He just seems to get better and more impactful than he was when he was using the op previously in the last year or so. It's insane for a set of moves to go this right and bear fruits like this immediately. Like, the only other move in recent memory that's been this successful out the gate is Rops to Vitality, and Vitality were already much better than Furia ever were. It's hard to imagine a team going from being this bad, where Furia were last year, to how good they are now. Like, that just doesn't happen. I keep on bringing it up, and I'll do it every single time. This is the most fun team for me to watch in the scene right now. They are consistently entertaining. They have great personalities. They clearly want to be the best team in the world. And heading into the Budapest Major, maybe this changes in the context of Blast Rivals, but right now, Furia are the best team in Counter-Strike. And when the fuck have we been able to say that about a Fallen-led team in the last decade, nearly? If you guys enjoyed this video, please show me by leaving a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, help me take us up by the end of the year. I'm so tired. Follow me on Twitch TV/LionHeartZ. Thank you to my channel members. You guys know who you are. It's number one way to support me directly. $5 a month to get into the video just like this. Plus, community Discord. I'm going to bed. Bye.